welcome to Real Recollections.
That's not how I remember it.
The show where we recall our favorite childhood movies and see how they hold up against our jaded adult lives.
That is absolutely right, Mary. And this week we are going to be covering 101 Dalmatians.
Dalmatians. That's Jonah.
And that was Mary.
Talking to you.
You know, it's funny on radio shows how oftentimes people introduce each other.
It's funny. Because, well, they also will say, like, will they say I'm Mary? Like, this is Mary. Like, they could say that, too. Like, I'm Mary.
Yep. This is Mary. See, I could say it, too.
But you're not.
But it wouldn't
perjury.
be true.
Don't do it.
It wouldn't be true, but I could say it.
Could we trick you? We could trick the audience. Be like, I'm Jonah today.
And I'm Mary.
They just have to believe it because, you know, they can't see us.
Yep. You'll just have to take our word for it.
Take our word for it that it's happening.
Or, yeah.
How's your week, Jonah?
Good.
Oh, it sounds good.
Yeah.
Jonah, what time did you wake up today?
8 a.m. Actually, 8:20. But I still haven't adjusted to the time.
I know. It's hard.
It's ridiculous, but it's true.
I haven't adjusted the time because I keep staying up till 2 a.m. and making no attempt to go to bed early.
Or wake up early. It's only 2 hours difference, but if you don't ever try to change your sleeping habits, then you don't
change them. What a weird concept.
We have done well the last 2 nights, but I'm really, really tired today.
That's true. We did have done better. Ruth is slowly crawling across my lap, trying to go somewhere else.
I just hope she doesn't whip the...
I wish you guys could see our setup right now.
It's super profesh.
Yeah. We've taken my purse and we've weaved it through the, what do you call it, of the bunk bed.
The rungs?
The rungs of it? The above bed bars. And so it's hanging from there between us, and then we put the recorder inside it.
Because last time there were a couple of kerfuffles in the middle of the...
Couple of bumps and things. We'd like to blame them on Wade, but
Mary wants to blame them on Wade.
But the truth is, it's
all
us.
for myself.
Wow. Okay, thanks for throwing me under the bus. But that was all us. That was all us, like, trying to adjust. Because we were holding it between us that time, and, like, because we needed to see Wade on the other phone.
Well, we realized that the closer we are to the microphone, the better sound we get. I know.
What a concept.
Yes.
We are so smart about sound. We know so much. Awesome. Well, Jonah.
Yeah.
What do you remember about 101 Dalmatians from your childhood? When you were a wee lad?
101 Dalmatians.
Jonah breaks into a musical medley to describe his feelings.
Okay, for 101 Dalmatians, I remember the TV show that they had.
Okay.
And a lot of it was based around that one movie star dog.
What? What are you talking
or maybe
about?
This was the second movie. Where,
Oh, I didn't even know there was a second movie.
Yeah.
No, I didn't know that.
I think there is.
But there's definitely a TV show.
There's a TV show or movie about how they're at the place, at their farm.
The Dalmatian plantation.
Yes, there. And like the movie star dog that they watch on the
like Canine Crunchies.
Canine Crunchies guy. Yeah.
Yeah. I can't remember his name.
He like
in it.
shows up and he like mentors them or something.
Weird. Interesting.
Yeah.
Huh.
Anyways, I remember that, and I also remember there just being so much merchandise for 101 Dalmatians.
Yeah? Just where? Like Disneyland or Disney Store? Or
It's like everywhere.
Walmart, McDonald's, everywhere. Just
Everywhere.
Dalmatian.
And you know what? Dalmatians are a very regal animal.
They are very regal. They have that
Beautiful coats.
beautiful coats. They also have like that thin, elegant frame. I like it. I actually remember when I was a kid seeing a real Dalmatian, like in real life, and I was disappointed. I was like, that's not nearly as cute as I thought it would be, which I feel bad about.
Well, yeah, because they're less cute in real life.
Yeah,
Their
their faces aren't as cute.
They're actually
in
a
Mary's
very
opinion.
intense-looking dog.
Yeah, they are.
You
They're
know,
very
so-
athletic looking.
Sometimes, though, when people are like, oh, what a beautiful dog, I'm like, my eyes are up here.
Stop looking at my dog.
Keep your mangy eyes off my dog. I'm just kidding. No,
Oh my, no, you want them
I've
to
never
love
thought
your
that,
dog.
but I said it to be funny, I guess.
Is that
I'm
why
being
you
very
said it?
vulnerable right now.
I'm opening up to you guys
Ruth.
about my fake feelings about Ruth has the loudest toys. Whose fault is that? Ours. It's our fault. Ruth, come here. Don't play.
Sorry about that, guys.
Sorry about that. That's not us dropping the mic. That's Ruth dropping her toy. Which is
She
like
likes the
weighs
toys that are
50
loud.
pounds or something.
It does weigh a lot.
It weighs a lot.
Well, it's a Kong, and we got her like two
One that
sizes
was too big. We got the one that's for like, what's the biggest dog breed?
Great Dane,
Great Danes?
Mastiff.
Yeah, something like that. It's like a thing for that, and Ruth's like a medium-sized dog.
I don't know what I was thinking.
And you bought them so confidently too, because I was with you and you bought like 4 of them.
Well, here's the
You're like,
thing,
I'm
like-
going to do it.
Always go up a size from what you think you should get. But what I thought I should get was just the size that I should have gotten. It would have been closer than this anyways.
Yeah, for sure. I'm always worried too that there's like leftover peanut butter or something in them.
It totally is.
Oh, like it's hard to get them clean because the small, etc. So that's all you remember. Lots of merchandise and the show.
Cruella de Vil was scary. I was like, why are they smoking?
I know. I was like, smoking is evil. It's wrong. I mean, look at her smoke.
I know.
What is she smoking?
Gross and green in the movie.
I know. I remember Cruella de Vil being really scary, especially because like she just seems she's so out of control.
Yeah.
She's an out of control villain. The opposite of Maleficent from last week.
She's totally on some kind of drug.
Yes.
Crack!
That keeps her going the way she is. Yeah. And so I remember being really afraid of Cruella de Vil. And I remember that scene where they roll in the soot and the raindrops like fall on them. That was like my favorite part of the movie.
Yep, that one was good.
Because it's really funny and really scary too. It's probably the most tense part where they like,
Funny?
well, like funny in that like it's clever, I guess is what I'm saying.
Oh.
It's clever that they come up with it, and then it's clever the way that
Mary's like, ha ha ha, they're gonna get caught and die!
I was a very morbid child. No, just clever is what I mean. Thought it was cool, and the suspense. I always liked suspense things, but I always, even when I was a kid, I was like,
junkie.
what the heck's wrong with Cruella de Vil when she's like trying to run the truck off the road and stuff? I was like, she's a demon woman thing, and they almost like try to make you think that 'cause she has like the red eyes and the craziness, and
Yeah, but she has a nice car.
she does have a nice car.
I like her car.
I do too. It's nice.
Ruth sighs. She's like, I can't believe you're siding with the villain here.
When she was trying to get puppy coats. Aren't Dalmatians? They're like really short coated too. I mean, obviously in the film they're short coated, but they're not. They're not even as fluffy as Ruth, are they?
No.
Are you guessing?
Yes. No, they are short-coated.
Okay.
They're very short-coated.
It just seems like that's a weird choice for like.
A coat.
It's not a fur coat. It's like a skin coat.
Maybe a vest.
Vest or something. I'm trying to imagine
Like
what clothes
a
would
night
like
vest or something.
Cowboy chaps. For the fashionable cowboy, Dalmatian chaps.
Boots. Boots, Ruth. I said boots. She's
Not
like,
that I have great fashion
You're making
sense.
me into boots. No, I ain't making you into boots. I'm just saying.
You would
You
make
could be
good
boots.
I'm just saying you make good boots. I'm not saying you should be boots, or I'm gonna make you boots, or I have plans for you. I'm
just saying. Anything's possible.
No, actually, what's funny is the other day we almost Ruth ran away from us. It was scary.
Oh no! Let's not relive this trauma.
Well, Jonah was trying walking her with like. With a fanny pack, because when she runs with Ruth, because she's not used to the city and she's just like overwhelmed, whenever he runs with her, she's on the leash and she just runs back and forth, all the way right, all the way left, all the way right while he's running. So it looks like he has a windshield wiper out in front of him in Ruth, like she's clearing the path for him. Maybe that's what she's doing. No, she's not. So he was like, it would be better if I didn't have to hold it, if I could like put it around my waist, which is something they do, and they make things like that. But he thought, I'll make my own, and so he put it in our fanny pack that we have. He just put the leash in it.
Through it, not in it.
Sorry, through it. Sense. Okay, fine. He put, yeah. Anyway, and he, we were walking and Ruth sees a dog, and Ruth loves dogs. That's the problem. She's like, I want to play with every dog that's ever lived, and I'll die if I don't get to play with them. Very teenager-like in that way. And so she started running, and it helped for a bit, but then...
It helped for like 6 minutes.
And then...
So I let my guard down.
And then it came off.
But then she came back and she apologized to both of us.
She did, but it was very traumatic for about 3 seconds. I can't tell you how traumatic it is to watch your dog go around the corner in New York City and not know if you're ever going to see them again.
Run into a crazy crowded, busy street.
But it was fine. She came back and she did that thing where she like crawls on her belly. I am the scum of the earth. You can't be mad at her, but you're still shaking because you're scared. Anyway. Yeah, it was traumatic. I'm realizing that as we're talking about it. Ooh, that was a good yawn.
Oh. We just relived that trauma.
Jonah needs a minute.
I'm crying because of the trauma, not because I yawned.
It was scary. And it was also late at night, so, like, we weren't in our best thinking cap minds either.
Everyone cries when they yawn, right?
Yes? The little watering of eyes. I want you to know how drunk Jonah looks right now.
Everyone cries.
Oh my gosh. We are so on it today.
What do you remember of Dalmatians?
I already said it. That Cruella was crazy. No, I said Cruella was crazy, and I remember the scene with, like, the dropping water. I remember watching this one more than some of the others that we've done.
Interesting.
Because we definitely own this one.
Yes.
Yeah. But it's funny, it is
Red
like
cover.
the big stretches of parts that I don't remember. Oh, I remember the scene with a stillborn puppy. I remember it being a lot longer than it is. Because it was, like, really emotional as a child. I was like, oh my gosh, that puppy might be dead.
I know. I actually remember the part where he covers up his tracks.
Yeah.
I remembered that.
That's smart. And I remember the puppy who's, like, really likes the TV and stuff. I really liked him. Lucky.
Yeah.
He's a fun time.
Yep. Yep.
That's what I remember.
That is what we remember. And to help you remember, here's our plot in the pinch.
Roll the camera, Sam. What is the best kind of fur coat? Mink, Bunny? Faux? Nope, according to the fashion designer Cruella de Vil, it's got to be Dalmatians. And for some unknown reason, it has to be her former friend's Dalmatians. She kidnaps all 15 puppies from parents Pongo and Perdita and legally purchases 84 more. Little does she know that she's messed with the wrong parents and that British dogs apparently have a built-in infrastructure for reporting crime. At the end of the day, her cockamamie plan leaves her carless in a snowbank. Good thing she still has her coat. Meanwhile, the Dalmatian parents and their pets start a Dalmatian plantation, which doesn't at all sound like a puppy mill.
That's great, Mary.
Thank you.
Hi, Ruth. It's like, I'll come back now.
I'm just like, alright, now that you're done with that.
Let me smell the camera.
Let me get a feeling for this.
I loved every part of that, even the part where he got the math wrong. I think, did you write it down wrong, or did you?
84!
No, it's 86.
Aw, 86.
Ruth sighing at you. She's like, ugh, stupid humans.
Stupid humans.
Making simple mistakes.
Even
dog don't make that kind of mistake.
Even dog don't make a arithmetic mistake.
Arithmetics. We knows our maths.
We're the best at maths.
Should we talk about history?
Let's talk about history.
Here's the history mystery on my blistery foot.
No.
I was just rhyming. Sorry, you got carried away.
It got a little weird, but I liked where you were going at first. I thought it was good.
Mystery.
Blustery.
No, it's over
it's
now.
Dead.
It's
Oh,
dead.
wow.
The rhyme has ended.
Well, do you want to know how they got the story for the Dalmatians?
Yes.
Okay, great. So, Dodie Smith originally wrote a children's book called 101 Dalmatians, which was published in 1956, and that's what the story is based off of. Bill Peet was the guy who did the story for Disney itself. He started at the studio as an in-betweener, so he, drew all the in-between work, but he worked his way up, basically, through the ranks, because he really wanted to be on story. That was what his dream was. And eventually he was. And one thing they said about him was that in the Renaissance of Disney, a story, group would have, 15 to 20 people working on just the story. And all of them would work on it. But for 101 Dalmatians, just Bill Peet did it. All by himself. He did the story. And
it's like a one-man
story person. And Dodie Smith, the author of the original book, said that he improved upon her story. So she was really happy with it.
Yep. So the story is actually a very modern story and totally different from anything that Disney had done up to that point. Mm-hmm. So the husband and wife, they're very flirtatious with you. It's not
with you?
Sorry.
They're flirtatious with the viewer.
With each other. And it's not based on a fairy tale. It's not set in
in turn of the century
any kind
or
of
anything.
Romantic era. It's
Nope.
set in modern day, whatever's.
England, yeah. Cruella smokes. They watch TV. They have cars. And so it wasn't in the Disney normal formula.
Yep. They were breaking new ground.
New ground. And with new ground comes, new technology.
Yeah, shall we talk about that?
We should.
So, Sleeping Beauty, we said last week, was an end of an era. So, what we meant by that, we meant many things by that, but one of the things is that it's going to be the last hand-inked and painted film ever.
Ever, yeah.
Well, at least for Disney.
At least for Disney,
I don't know about for other animation studios.
Yep. So in the past, they had inkers, and what they would do is they would take the animators' drawings, and they would draw the lines for it on the cells, using a variety of colors. So they used gold lines for Aurora's hair and flesh-colored lines around her face, and then they would turn that cell over and paint in all the lines. But it was really expensive. It was a lot of work. And so there was a guy called Bob Iwerks who kind of came to the rescue.
Yeah. So, have you ever heard of, I want to say Aniflex.
Amniflex.
Aniflex? No, that's not it, though. It's called something else.
Are you talking about Xerox?
Did you already talk about that?
No, What's happening?
I'm trying to corral our dog.
Sorry, our dog is distracting us because she just really wants to smell the recorder for some reason.
No, you were talking about Bob Iwerks.
Bob Iwerks, yes.
Yeah, so he comes to the rescue, and actually he's one of Walt Disney's oldest employees. So he was around when the multiplane camera was invented.
Well, he invented it.
Yeah, oh, yes. He also invented it. It's not like that's an important thing to know. But also, he animated on Steamboat Willie. So he's been there since the beginnings.
Yeah, he actually did Mickey on Steamboat
Walt
Willie.
Disney Studios existed.
Yep, he was Walt's partner when he started the Laugh-O-Gram company, which was a long time ago. He's the guy who came up with sodium screened process, which don't ask me what all that means.
It's basically to let live action and cartoons be together.
So like Mary Poppins when they have like...
As one.
Yeah, exactly. Wouldn't have bed knobs and broomsticks without him, y'all.
Yep. What a shame that would be.
It would be. I love the movie. We'll do that one sometime.
Anyways, he also came up with this idea, which was to use Xerox, not Aniflex.
Oh, not Amniflex.
Xerox. And if you're familiar with what Xerox is,
just skip 5 minutes. I'm just kidding.
No, it's just a copying machine. But back in the day, not that I know from experience, but the machine would take up 3 rooms.
Yep.
And there'd be like 3 different parts of the machine that they would have to do things with. But it's basically just like a really giant copier. And so
he came up with the idea of copying the animator's drawings onto the clear cells. So rather than going through like the hand inking process, just letting it copy it.
Yeah, and this is great because the animators were like...
I'm literally holding Ruth's paw. Ruth, calm down.
The animators were like, oh, this is great because literally our drawings are going to be the things that are shown in the film instead of somebody else's tracings of our drawings, where sometimes they would take out lines that they didn't like or things like, or take liberties that they didn't like. Anyways.
Well, anytime you go through kind of the, I don't know, telephone of drawing and stuff, I imagine some things were changed or different, slightly.
Right. So they were excited about that, and they actually got a new group of people who would go through and clean up their drawings because everything would copy onto the clear sheet, and then you couldn't paint over top of it.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, when animators would draw, sometimes they would draw, like, the construction lines and things of the faces that you see. And they were like, you have to get them clean. Like, just the lines you want on the screen. And so, yeah, they had to hire assistants, basically, to clean up the drawings. Which, imagine how scary that would be to take, like, these people who are, like, the masters of Disney. And they're like, hey, you take this pencil drawing, and can you just, like, erase some of the stuff?
Yeah. Anyways, this caused some friction because it was Milt Kahl, right?
Yep.
He was like, don't touch my animations.
Yeah.
Just leave them alone.
Yeah.
And anyways, that would be scary.
Yes. They actually tried out the process, the Xerox process, on Sleeping Beauty, but just in one scene. It was the dragon fighting scene.
Yeah. But one of the drawbacks of Xerox is that all the lines are going to be black, right?
Yep.
And so they couldn't have like those really elegant
gold lines in the hair,
gold linings, or like in Sleeping Beauty, I noticed that for black things they would outline them in red.
Yeah.
And things like that. So they couldn't have different colored outlines for things. Everything was black, which gave it more like
kind of a rougher look,
but that also comes from like different construction lines coming through because sometimes Milt Kahl would just leave those in there. So every once in a while you just see like little black lines on the dogs or the humans.
Right. where they left them in. And so it just didn't have quite as much finesse.
It gives it a scratchier
look at times. But it was a lot cheaper because they got rid of the whole inking department, which is kind of sad. They showed this picture of all the inkers, and it's just like this line of like 50 women just inking.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But it did save a lot of money.
Yeah, they ended up saving 33% off of what they spent on Sleeping Beauty. So $2 million.
Yep. Amazing.
Yeah. It also cut down on time.
It did.
Too.
Yeah. And the animators were happy again because their drawings were literally what you saw on the screen. No, like, in-between process or copying. Yeah, and with kind of this new modern process, they also had, of course, their modern music. This Dalmatians is the movie that has the least amount of music of any Disney film.
Yeah, we talked last time about how Walt was like, why do we need music in every single part of the film?
Yeah.
And I think this is the first film where they really tried to, I don't know, explore musical silence in the film.
Yeah, there are times when there's no music even scoring underneath the movie. And it works. I mean, it does. Just some fun facts about the music. Levin is the guy who wrote the songs for the movie. Well, I guess there's 2 songs, right?
Yeah.
There's Cruella de Vil and Dalmatian Plantation. He actually wrote another song first for Cruella de Vil, which
it's really bad.
If you want to have something stuck in your head for literally days, go look it up. But it's like cruel, Cruella, devil, de Vil. Anyway, cruel, Cruella, devil, de Vil. So you have to go look it up if you want that stuck in your head. It's like a schoolyard taunt.
Yeah, that's what the book said.
Yeah, that's literally what the book
called
said.
it a schoolyard taunt.
Yes, that is what my music book said. But yeah, so it just had a different feeling to it. And then he himself had the idea, what if it had more of a bluesy quality? And then he ended up writing Cruella de Vil, which I think is one of the most popular Disney songs.
It's a good one.
It's a really good one. And so he himself replaced it in the movie, which I think is really interesting. Because, usually they're like, oh, this song isn't working. Go write another. But he was like, I don't really like this one. I'm going to write another one.
Yeah.
Which I liked. And they also changed Dalmatian Plantation. It was something else first. I can't remember. They had to change around some of the tune basically stayed the same, but they changed it a little bit because they wanted the words Dalmatian Plantation. They thought it'd be funny. So they had to extend it and stuff. Uh-huh. And
so of
course he wrote the Canine Crunchies like to eat jingles.
Yeah, that's a joke.
It's one of my favorite parts.
I actually
of it.
really love that part.
I love it so
you get to hear the melody underneath, but they're just talking just like this, and it's not following any kind of.
And George Bruns,
melody.
who did the score for Sleeping Beauty, also did the score for 101 Dalmatians, which are very different. You can hear him having a lot of fun though with it. I really like his scoring.
Yeah,
I think he's one of my favorites.
It's nice.
Yeah. But yeah.
There are quite a few Easter eggs in this film.
Yes.
So Wooly Riderman, people in the studio say he's kind of like the wizard at reusing old animation.
He was really proud of old animation.
So he would pull from them and use them exactly.
Yes.
From other films. Just take the files and then plant them in. Anyways. So during the Twilight Bark, you can see Scotty from Lady and the Tramp, and also Peg and Bull and Lady. So they all come.
Yeah, Peg and Bull, they're in the pet shop when you see them, and Lady's when you see a big shot of the street, she comes out right at the end. So if you look through 101 Dalmatians, it's maybe they're all the ancestors, because this would be later, right? In life. I don't think they thought that hard, but but yeah, you can see the literal animation just stuck in. It's really fun, I think.
Yeah, it is fun.
It's kind of a fun little thing to look for. They also used the Xerox technology on the cars in the piece. Oh, sorry.
In a different way, yes.
In a different way.
they actually made models of the car, but then they would like outline them in. They'd made them white, and then they'd outline the lines with black marker.
Yeah, it was like cardboard cars, right? But like really black lines around all the edges.
And then they filmed it, and then they could Xerox
the film. Yeah.
And it saved time and also saved them money because they didn't have to animate it.
Yes.
And it also gave the cars a really unique look.
Yeah, because they had them on. Did you say they had them on the sheet?
No, I didn't.
So yeah, they filmed them. They would put them on this sheet, which I love how like last minute everything feels like just put together from like crap around the office. So like they put it on a sheet that was held up with like wooden pegs and like kite string.
That's right. Yeah.
And then they would move it so that it looked like the car was bouncing. And so that's why the cars kind of had that bouncing look in the movie, is because they filmed it like that.
Yeah, and remember that scene where like the car runs into the snow and you're like, that looked weird? That's because...
I think you thought it looked weird because we knew what it was.
No, I always thought that looked weird. I'm like,
oh, really?
What?
So yeah, when
Anyways,
she drives up the hill.
Yeah, she's trying to drive up the ditch hill thing. And they did that by just recording that cardboard car, and it's trying to drive through sand. So
yeah,
it makes the snow look like
so the sand looks a little weird. And
it makes it look a lot darker because it has all these little dots and things where like it would have been darker because of the sand, you know?
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, you can definitely see that it looks like sand when you're watching it. It's kind of fun that way.
But yeah, it's not like a bad effect. It's just different. It actually gives it kind of like a computer animated kind of look.
It does. I get that.
Yeah.
Also, I think it's fun that in the I almost said in the play, in the movie, like all the cars have their like personalities.
Yeah.
You know, Cruella's car definitely looks like Cruella, and like Jasper and whatever his name is, their car very much has that like criminal low down look. It's fun.
Yeah.
Oh, they also made the moving truck with all the little all the furniture in it.
Inside, yeah.
Yeah, they made little cardboard furniture and like the big moving truck, and they recorded that, like the furniture bouncing in it and stuff.
Yeah, I think it's a really clever idea.
Yeah, it's really fun and also really cute, and I think they still have them because they were showing like the models.
Yeah.
So that's really fun. It'd be cool to see those in a museum, you know?
So we talked about Milk Call quite a bit today, but here's another story about him. So, so the character Anita was originally designed by somebody else, and then Walt didn't like it, and so he's like, redesign her. And of course, he gave this to Milk Call, who's
maybe that's why he was so stressed during this.
yeah, because he was doing
he's like,
so
redesign
many different things. Anyways, the actress who played her felt like he took her look and made that the design for Anita.
Yeah, and I like Anita's design.
I do too.
It's really fun. It's kind of bookish, but also elegant. It's really fun. Another person that did good animation in this was Mark Davies. He did Cruella de Vil. And remember, he did Maleficent last week, so this was a really different character for him. And it was really fun for him to just, like, let loose with her. And it was actually the last thing that he ever animated for the department. So I think it's worth noting that this was his last thing, and it was really fun. And he single-handedly designed her and drew her for the film.
Yep.
So that's amazing.
Pretty crazy.
Yeah.
And then, should we talk about the spots in the room?
The spots in the room. Everywhere in the room. Oh my gosh.
A lot of other animation studios would make jokes while Disney was making this film because they're like, was it Warner Brothers?
Warner Brothers.
Warner Brothers wouldn't even make a film with a dog with one spot on it because you have to go in and
make sure that spot is right in every single shot that you do of the dog.
Anyway, so they're like, of course Disney would go and make a film about 101 Dalmatians, which have on average
they had numbers that were specific to each kind, right?
Yeah, so adults tend to have like 70-ish spots, and then puppies have about 30-ish spots. Yeah. So every puppy would have 32 spots. Pongo had 76, and Perdita had 69.
So, like, as you were animated, you would know that was how many they had.
Yeah. Anyways, who was in charge of doing all the puppies?
Eric Larson.
Eric Larson. So he actually had an assistant who was in charge of putting all the dots on the dogs.
Yep.
That sounds like a really hard job.
It does sound like a really hard job. Because, like, it's not just, like, putting random dots on them, but knowing that in each scene, you don't want the dots to be, like, sliding around or suddenly being somewhere else within the shot type thing. And so you had to really be careful. They did replicate some of the puppies with the Xerox.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which you can see, like, especially in the scene where, like, they're jumping through the windows and things, or, like, jumping out of the hole in the house. They do that, like, 3 times where they're jumping out of a hole.
Yeah.
And you know that's got to be reused.
Yeah.
The puppies have to be reused, yeah.
Didn't they have the number of how many spots total was in the film?
Oh, I don't think so.
Anyways, I think it was, like, over 1 million.
That would not surprise me. Maybe you read that somewhere that I didn't.
Yeah.
Because I didn't find that. But lots and lots of spots. And you have to do them in different ways. In fact, Eric Larson said that there's a puppy named Lucky in it. And so he made the spots in a horseshoe on his back.
Yeah.
So just fun little things like that.
Yep.
What we should have said is, now we should talk about the backgrounds in the room.
Oh, no.
Oh, my gosh.
I'll let you handle this.
So me and Jonah were watching the documentary for this and, like, reading about it. And I don't know why, but we got into the biggest fight about the backgrounds and about how they were made and about what, like, process.
We got in a big tussle.
We got in a big tussle, like, red in the face, like, no, this is what they're saying. No, this is what they're saying.
We watched the portion of the documentary, I kid you not, like, 10 times.
10 times. And then, like, a couple more times for, like, good measuring. Additional videos, reading the books, and we're like, what are they saying? So I don't know if that means that we're really bad at it or... But Ken Anderson was actually in charge of the backgrounds for this. I don't know why. I feel like I know Ken Anderson from something else. Probably just from Disney. Somehow I know his name.
He has a friendly name.
He has a friendly name. So Ken Anderson, he actually was working for them way back with, Silly Symphonies. And he's the one who did Ferdinand the Bull. Their original animation for that. He did the backgrounds, and they were really colorful and bright and kind of more detailed than backgrounds for those kind of things were in the past. And some of the people on that were like, Walt's not going to like it, blah, 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 but Walt loved it. So for 101 Dalmatians, he wanted to bring that Xeroxy look from the characters. He really wanted the background to match that look. And so he wanted them to be angular and abstract. So, as far as me and Jonah understand, this is what happened.
Yep.
So, here we go.
You better get this right, Mary.
I might get it wrong, to be honest. So, Ken Anderson drew all the rooms, like in pencil, just the lines. Okay, I'm looking at Jonah for, like, confirmation.
Good so far.
Okay, good so far. Then... where's his name? Ernie Nordley, who was his, like, assistant or helper, would come in and he would make those lines because it kind of looked like just like a normal room or something. So Ernie Nordley would come in and he would make the lines like fatter in some places and thinner in some places, which gave it kind of its asymmetrical, abstract, angular look, that the backgrounds have. Good. Gave it, like, a character. And then there was a guy named Walt Paraguay, okay? And he came in and he did the paintings for the background. So they Xeroxed that. The thing that Ken Anderson and Ernie Nordley did, they Xeroxed that.
Yes.
For all the scenes.
Good.
So it has a Xerox look. And then they had this guy, Walt Paraguay, he would come in and he painted... Over top of it. So he put in the colors, and he did the color designing of it. And Ken Anderson didn't even, like, really give him feedback on it. He just, like, trusted Walt Paraguay to do that. And it was very much, like, a modern style, because Walt Paraguay was famous for doing, like, paintings with, like, things loosely represented. Like, oh, that's loosely a church or loosely a chair, you know?
Yeah.
And it looks like it might be easy, but it's actually really hard to pull off.
Yeah, it more suggests at it than actually getting the dimensions or anything like that right.
Yes. And so it gives it a very interesting look. I actually love it. I think it's one of my favorite things about Dalmatians is the backgrounds. They're really beautiful. They kind of remind me of like Madeline picture books or like Andrew Henry's Meadow, which is one we love. It has like the dark lines, even though that one doesn't have like, it's not colored in, but like the lines and everything. And so it's really beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mary, I think you did a good job.
Thank you.
I also want to say that that's what I always thought it was.
Well, here's the thing. I think that we both thought that's what it was at some point, but then we were, I don't know, we just like weren't communicating. Jonah, let's have a session about this right now. Why do you think that we got into that argument? I'm just kidding.
Well, I think it started with you saying that.
Half a dozen people just like turn off the podcast right then. They're like, oh, I don't want to get into this.
Yeah. So. Yeah. Well. Yeah. Sorry, it's just taking me a minute to recover. We've covered so much trauma today.
I know. So many things.
Crazy.
So much vulnerability.
Walt Disney, unfortunately, did not like the backgrounds at all. He hated them.
No, he did not like the style.
Walt is very much like a romantic. I mean, if you think about the films that he was like really invested in, they're all,
almost classical.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, they're always really detailed and really rich.
And in every way, too. I think Walt really wanted his, what started out as, like, drawing cartoons to become, like, a really well-respected art form. And I think he thought the way to do that was to go back to the classics. I mean, you see him doing that even with the music. So he's like, we need to have the drawings be classical style. We need to have the music be classical style.
Getting them as realistic as possible.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah, and then he's like, and then we'll be seen as, like, a really,
legitimate thing. I don't think that he was ever like, let's make this hip. Which I feel like, when I watched 101 Dalmatians, that's the feeling I get. Like, this is hip and kind of modern and, you know what I mean? I think it's still beautiful and very artsy in a way, but it's more that modern sensibility of it rather than old lush colors, you know what I mean? Things like that.
Yeah, it's not tried and true like the other stuff was. It didn't follow the formula, and I think Walt was worried about that. And even after it did really well in the box office,
it just never
Ken Anderson still felt like he hadn't forgiven him. And it was actually until 2 weeks before Walt passed away, Ken Anderson said he came in and he's like, "How are you, Walt?" And he said, "Good, it's really good to be here." And he's like,
"It's good
in that moment,
you."
he's like, "It's good to see you." Yeah. He's like, in that moment, I just knew that he had forgiven me for
he just looked me in the eyes and I could tell
what I had done on 101 Dalmatians.
Which to me, I was like, how many years is that? He like held it. And also it was so tender to watch like Ken Anderson be like, I could tell that he'd forgiven me. And I was like, oh, you didn't need to be forgiven. It was beautiful.
It was really great. But like, you could tell how much everyone, like, Walt's opinion really mattered to them.
Yeah. Yeah, you can tell
But
that.
Walt Disney really wasn't a part of the animated films anymore.
No. He was so busy with Disneyland and live action and TV. He just had so many facets. He wasn't even involved in animation much anymore. Which is how this came about. So, critics ended up loving it.
It's the highest acclaimed film since Dumbo.
Yeah, which
weird.
Seems like a weird sentence. That's what they
Dumbo.
said. And I was like, Dumbo was the next one that got the greatest reviews?
Like, every other film was better than Dumbo. Dumbo was the film I fell asleep in 3 times. And it's
what about Fantasia?
It's
that was
only an hour long.
That's true. But yeah, critics loved this one. They found it unpretentious, and it was just enormously successful. It had half the staff of Sleeping Beauty. It was the highest grossing movie of 1961. It was one of the highest grossing films of all time. And ultimately it saved the animation studio.
Yeah, they were seriously considering just cutting animation entirely.
Yeah,
because
like
so
animation
expensive.
is sucking the money out of the company. Walt just like end it. But Walt felt a kinship and like a responsibility to animators because they were how he started, you know?
Well, you couldn't. I mean, Disney couldn't cut it. I mean, people.
Disney...
I think they like to make you feel like they were going to cut it to make it dramatic. And I'm sure they had discussions like that, but I don't think they ever could.
How many of the live action films they made then are like still famous? No.
Like none of them. Well, here's the thing.
2000 Leagues
Disney
Under the Sea
is animation. That's how they started.
I know.
That's everything.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So it's like you can't just leave that behind. Even if they had taken a break, like a 5 or 10 year break, they would come back to.
They would have come back to animation. I feel like. I think you're right. But yeah, so it was the little puppy movie that saved Disney, and that's how 100 Dalmatians was made.
Yeah, man.
And this is how we liked it now, or recalled it now in our jaded lives.
Jaded lives have tarnished our views
of the world and
humanity in general.
What was the thing the other day? We're like, oh, maybe we are jaded. What was that? I can't remember.
I can't remember either. It's just so much a part of us that we
don't even remember. It's
how
just like,
jaded we are.
So jaded.
Don't you love how Ruth is like terrible for like 40 minutes of the podcast? And normally she's just like chilling out.
Well, she always seems to be bad when we like need the computer. Like when we need to look at something to like make sure we have all our notes and like names right. She seems to be like really needing to be crazy and like coming over the computer.
As soon as we put it away, it's like she's sleeping right now.
Peaceful as anything.
Why couldn't you have been sleeping the entire time? I wish I could be sleeping the entire time.
It's just not possible. So, Jonah, what did you like or not like from 101 Dalmatians? What was your thoughts upon watching it? Let me settle back. Take me through it.
So, 101 Dalmatians. There's a lot of things I really liked. I really love Roger and Anita's relationship. That was really fun. I also like the relationship between him and his dog. I actually think that like probably the first 25 minutes is my favorite part of the movie.
I get that. Because I love the part where like Pongo's sitting there. It does have like, I don't know, it just has this like fresh energy to it that I really like.
It's just vibing in the first part of the movie.
I love it all the way through when they have the puppies. I like the part with the puppies, but I don't know why. As a kid, I feel like the puppies were much more interesting to me. As an adult, I really enjoyed, like you said, the first part with like, I love when he's looking at all the different owners and their dogs that look just like them.
Yeah.
It's just really fun and quirky.
It's kind of like Wall-E in that way, where it's like, I love the part where it's just like the love story. And but as soon as like the fat people show up, it's like, I'm no longer as interested in this story.
Yeah,
you know?
It's not quite interesting.
It's kind of the same, although not as dramatic, I feel, for me as with Wall-E. But I definitely prefer the first part. And I also love, like, every
part with Anita and
Pongo is like, oh, he's my pet. And I like that thing.
Yeah.
And how all the dogs look like they're humans, which I always find super funny.
I guess I really like Roger. I think he's really fun. Like, Roger's every party scene he's in.
And I love the tactics that Pongo uses to try to get them together. Like, only
a dog would.
A bachelor dog would think that would work. You know?
Exactly. I think one of my favorite scenes is when he comes down like, Roger, tea time, and he comes down, and they do, he talks about Cruella de Vil, and like dances with her. And I love when he's like upstairs playing literally every instrument loudly towards the floor.
Yeah, like, into the floor,
Which also, like, how many instruments does Roger play?
All of them.
He plays all of them. He's really talented.
And they have the cutest maid. Also, like, how much money is Roger making?
I know. They have to, like, they're, like, poor. At least like Cruella de Vil does.
Like, they feel kind of like bohemians. And then they have a maid.
Housemaid, yeah.
Yeah, and they also are planning on keeping 101
101
Dalmatians at the end.
Well, that's after they make money at the end, remember? Because his song becomes a hit.
I guess so.
But even, like, one song being a hit, how much money is that?
Yeah.
It can't be that much.
I don't know.
But yeah, I think they're like, because Corella's always like, oh, you poor little people trying to make money with your singing. You can barely make ends meet. And I'm like, they own a townhome in London.
I know. Like,
Right next to a nice park.
That has at least 2 stories.
Yeah. I was like, I think they're doing okay. You know?
It's okay, Ruth. I know. And they seem to be doing really well for starving artists.
I know. They don't seem to be starving. Plus, they have 2 dogs.
I know.
All of it. I was just like, I think either Corella's...
And the television.
Television? I know. It's just funny that they kept acting like they were poor. But I don't know if that's just like a Corella thing, but they weren't really, or if like... Because I guess they never talk about their money problems. It's just Corella who's like, oh, you're a poor artist husband.
I don't think they consider themselves poor.
No, I think they're happy like they are. And Corella just is one of those people that like wants lavish things, but they're like happy with tea time and all that stuff.
Another thing that I love about the first part of the movie is just how much sheet music is all over his apartment.
Yes, just everywhere.
Roger's apartment at the beginning.
I also love Cruella's entrance. And the fact that she has apparently super strength.
Anita,
darling, how are you doing? Just dreadful, absolutely wretched.
Our sister dressed up as Cruella de Vil for her work party, Halloween party or whatever. And she was amazing. And she had all these catchphrases that she would say. I love furs. I live for furs. But she had the accent down just right. It was perfect.
It's just so weird. Like, so Cruella was only friends with Anita for the fur?
No, I think they were friends. It seems like maybe Cruella de Vil wasn't so crazy in college. Or she might be that fun, like, really party person that people kind of like to have at their parties or whatever.
Yeah.
But then she, like, goes the wrong way. Or she never quite leaves the like
somehow they offend her terribly by like
mindset.
Saying that they don't want to sell the puppies.
Yeah, well, she's obviously addicted to something.
Something with green smoke. So who knows what that is?
So
Mountain Dew cigarettes.
These people used to do a lot of crazy things that they wouldn't normally do.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, she's crazy. And then but really rich apparently.
Apparently. She has like a devil phone.
Yeah.
Remember that? And she also has a crocodile lighter.
She's just so interesting. Honestly, upon watching this one, I thought like I would understand Cruella from like an adult's point of view. And I feel like instead she was such an anomaly. I was like, what's happening?
I don't
understand anything about you.
And her cheekbones, I don't remember them being that crazy.
That pointy?
She looks like an alien.
She does. Yeah. And also, like, they're school friends, so they're the same age?
Yep. I'm telling you, she's addicted to something. That's not good.
Or she has a sickness of some kind, or she's dyeing her hair
but here's
crazy.
The thing. Roger also smokes.
Yeah.
His pipe. But they make it look, like, all classy and stuff. And then she has, like, her long, Audrey Hepburn smoker
and the
thing.
green smoke just filters
and
into the room.
It looks like the grossest, terrible thing in the whole world.
I know, it really does.
But, in the end, don't smoke, kids.
I feel like, as cool as Roger makes it look, it's still, not cool.
So charming.
I know. It's those pipes. It's those Sherlock-looking pipes. They just look so friendly in English.
But
you're like, that guy with an English accent uses one, and he's clearly intelligent because he has an English accent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
So it's hard.
I know pipes are, like, so classy.
I know. It sounds like we smoke or something.
I know. I don't think anyone's going to think that we smoke.
But they hear the smokiness in my voice. The lowness. I know, I listen to myself on the recording and I'm like, my voice sounds really high. I feel like.
It's super high. It's super high. No, it's not. Don't worry about it. I think
Thanks,
the sun
Jonah.
just came out because it's super bright out. No.
Yeah. It got really dark this morning because of the
It
clouds.
was so dark and sad.
Yeah. Well, I like cloudy days, but still, like, being in the back bedroom and it's dark, you're like, is it daytime out? Or is
Yeah,
it nighttime?
it's hard to tell.
It's hard to tell. But yeah. What else about it? Trying to think what else I liked about it or didn't.
Liked it.
You really liked it? I feel like I'm with you where I got kind of bored in the middle. Not bored, but like just not as interested in the whole like kidnapping plot.
Maybe the Twilight bark, it goes on a little long.
Yeah, it does go on a little long.
I think they were trying to give you the idea that it travels really far.
I remember it being funner when I was a kid though. Like I was really excited for the Twilight bark part because I remembered liking
music or something.
Maybe that's what it is. Don't they take out the music there? A little bit?
I think so.
It's
I don't
mostly
know.
the barking.
It just felt like it got a little long, and then they introduced those other two characters.
I have to say I'm more confused by Cruella de Vil than ever. After it. She's so mysterious. I'm kind of excited for the movie they're making about her. With Emma Stone playing her.
Yeah.
I mean, because she has like the DeVille mansion that she apparently never uses because it's like broken down. She lives in some apartment somewhere else, is what it makes it seem like.
Yeah.
But she has the DeVille mansion.
Well, it also looks like the mansion's way out in no man's land, so.
Yeah, but they called it the DeVille mansion.
Maybe that's why she doesn't use it.
I guess so.
Maybe she has all this family money, or.
Yeah, she seems like she comes from old money.
Yeah.
You know?
The DeVille family fortune.
It's kind of crumbling. I don't know. It will be interesting to watch it and see what happens.
Let's see what happens.
Because she's evil, because she wants to kill puppies. Perché? But like you said, that almost seems like mental illness. Like, it's like, what are you thinking? That doesn't make sense.
Something's not quite right.
And again, the
Something's
super
off.
strength that she has
Yes.
whenever
The
she
super
closes the
strength.
door.
She breaks something.
She the ceiling like cracks and like plaster comes down, or she closes the door at the apartment and like the window breaks. I don't know about you, but I feel like if I slammed a door,
It would not crack.
it would not crack anything.
The foundations of the house.
No, nothing exciting like that would happen.
Probably for me it would.
I would just cringe at the sound of it.
Yes.
Me, as the person who slammed the door, I'd be like, oh, that was loud. At least that's usually what happens when I accidentally slam a door. And I'm like, oh,
shoot,
crap.
sorry,
I didn't know my own strength when I did that.
Or like you expect the door to be lighter than it is. Because, you know, with lighter doors, you have to kind of swing them.
Yeah.
And then it's actually heavy, and so you're like, and then you can see that it's going to happen, and you're like,
No! The worst is when it's like windy outside and the wind suction like pulls the door, slams it shut. That's always really traumatic.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if I've ever slammed a door. Like on purpose in anger. Have you?
I think I've wanted to.
Me too. I like to imagine myself angry, like doing all these like super stereotypical angry things. But usually I just end up crying.
That's so unfortunate.
I know.
The last thing you want to do is cry.
I
when
know.
you're angry.
It's true. I also get red in the face and all those things. And also quiet. Just depending, I guess, on the argument.
Me too. It's like, I want you to know.
I want you to
That what you just did.
angry and just get quieter and quieter. I'm just kidding.
Probably because we're like holding back tears.
Yes, I'm like, if I give out any more of my voice, then emotions will come out that will undermine my anger right now. And I need you to know that I am a strong, fiery pillar of anger.
I also don't mean to, but I guess when I'm angry, I smile too. And then it's really creepy.
Wow, that is creepy.
Don't you ever do that to me again.
How would I know if you're angry? Now I'm not sure if I've ever seen you angry. No, I have. You do get quiet. Jonah just gets really quiet, and then eventually you're like, you're mad, aren't you? And then, like, talk it out.
Thing is, I know this doesn't make sense, but sometimes I feel like talking it out doesn't help me. It's just like, now I'm more angry because now I understand why I'm angry.
Now I realize I'm completely justified in this. I just realized I'm right.
I just realized I should be angry.
And you should apologize. You just dig in your heels more as you talk.
Exactly.
Whereas, like, I feel like the reason I don't like to speak out my anger is, like, I start talking about it and all of a sudden by the end of it, I'm like, you know what? It doesn't matter. Unless it really does, of course. Then, yeah, I get angry.
You know how most people say don't go to bed angry?
Uh-huh. That's terrible advice.
I feel like that's not true. Like, you wake up in the morning, it's a new day. I always wake up happy, so that's one thing.
Yeah.
At least most days I do.
Maybe it's because I like
Not
to
this
prepare.
morning.
So, like, I like to have, like, time to walk away from whatever's happening. To be like, okay, I've gathered my thoughts.
So you
I
can
know what I'm
actually
thinking.
say what you mean instead
Yes.
of, like, whatever comes to your head in that moment.
Yes,
You know what I
or
mean?
just get quiet like me because you're afraid you're going to say whatever is going to come to your head. So you're just like, I can't say anything because I can't be trusted right now.
I'm not in my right mind.
I'm not in my right mind.
No, I feel that.
Yeah. But yeah, Cruella is real crazy and real scary. I also think she's real crazy in that she's like, the dogs are trying to trick me and stuff like that, which they are. So in a way, she's not crazy, but like from the human standpoint, a human acknowledging that like the dogs are smart enough to try and cover up their tracks and stuff.
I know.
That's a little crazy.
Yeah, but the dogs also were doing that.
They actually are doing that, so then it's like maybe she's the least crazy of them all. But then if she can both acknowledge that they're trying to trick her, so they're intelligent enough to do that, and she wants to kill them and use their coats, there's problems.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Makes her more evil, huh?
Hey, let's not wear dead bodies on ourselves.
Let's not. I mean, I don't, certainly.
Also, let's not spend $2,000 on coats.
Let's not spend $2,000. You know what? Let's not spend more than $200.
How about instead I pay rent?
That's a good idea. Maybe today, this month, we pay rent first.
Okay.
Before we buy our coats.
Before we buy our fur coats.
Before we buy our
What
fur
a good
coats.
idea. Actually, one of our favorite things to do, well, we did this once, I guess, and we had a really good...
One of our favorite things that we've done time.
We had a really good time doing it, and well, actually twice, but one time I wasn't there.
Yeah.
The family had a great time doing it both times. Is when we go to New York, we go to the Macy's store, and then we play the game. It's like The Price is Right, basically. And every floor, everyone picks out
My
a
favorite
thing.
is when you were like, they should make like a game show for this. And I was like, it's called The Price is Right.
Okay. It's different, though.
It is a little different.
Anyways, every floor, everybody picks out an item, and everybody else has to guess how much that costs. Anywho, we love to go to the, what's it called, the fur locker or something like that.
I don't know. That sounds terrible.
And we go and we look through all the coats, which is terrible. But then
I was not there when you did that because I'm too like embarrassed. Like the salespeople that give you the eye, I'm totally, what do you call, cowed by them. I'm like, I'm sorry. I know I can't afford this.
That's the fun thing about it is that the workers there, they don't even come to talk to us because they're obviously not buying fur coats. I can tell by their Kirkland brand everything because they bought all of their clothes from Costco. Anyways, so they don't even come to talk to you. They just sit at their thing and they're like slightly twitching and they're like, they better not touch anything. And then of course we touch everything.
Oh my gosh. You guys told me that story and I felt like nerves in retrospect for you, even though I wasn't there. I was like, oh my gosh. Because like the worst thing that could happen is they come up and they're like, hey, don't touch that. But to me, that possibility is very scary.
It's like all
it's something I need to get over.
You need to get over
I need to get over it.
Get over it.
Get over
Okay,
it.
I think we're good.
I think I'm healed. Yeah, I
You're good
think.
now?
Yeah, now next time we go, I'll just go wherever I want. But no, yeah. So like even in stores where I can afford things, I like avoid the workers. I'm like, please don't come talk to me. And they're like, can I help you? I'm like, I'm just looking, even though I know I'm gonna buy something or whatever. I don't know. I'm just like,
Honestly,
just let me peruse on my own. I'm deeply personal when I shop. It already stresses me out to no end.
I have trauma from Costco because I used to love to go to Costco with my mom, and while she was shopping, I'd run around and eat all of the free samples.
Yeah.
And sometimes many of the one free sample that I liked.
Did you really?
Yes. Anyways, I was in the right. Okay. I was doing nothing wrong. And I was eating all these free samples, and this guy was like, "Do you have a Costco card? Are you going to buy that?"
How old are you?
I was like, I don't know how old, maybe 8?
Was it the worker or was
9?
there some guy?
The worker.
Oh.
Got like super mad at me.
What a jerk.
I was like, well, I'm not going to buy it now.
Sometimes, actually, I do go to my mom and say, we should buy this. And yeah, most of the time she's like, we're not going to. But extra advertisement for you.
Exactly. Anyways. Then
John, I'm
I wouldn't go and get the
samples ever again.
Not by myself. Mom would be like, oh, go get that sample. I'd be like, I can't go get it.
I can't do it. Sorry. Sometimes those samples are really good.
They are really good sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes they're real good.
Sometimes it's enough.
I think they've definitely, like,
Going early
bought
enough
things
on
and
Saturday.
started making certain meals based on things at Costco. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. I can't think of one, but, like, I know, like, most of, like, our chip dips or whatever that we always buy, we tried first there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Absolutely.
But yeah. But, yeah, so that's our shopping trauma. But
go. I don't know what
I bet Cruella de Vil doesn't have any. She probably walks into every store and is like, this is my store and I own everything. She probably asks them to pull down a bunch of stuff and then she doesn't buy anything. I get guilty. I'm like, if I make them help me, then I feel like I have to buy something. I think that's the trick. But I'm not sure.
Yeah, me too.
I'm like, I'll take these socks by the counter now. Just something.
I'll have this piece of
Just
gum.
something. It's the Twilight bark.
Uh-oh. There's some serious business going on right now.
Listen in, everybody. The Twilight bark is
Maybe
active
we'll
in
travel
New York.
all the way to the countryside.
Maybe.
Upstate. So, Mary, in the end, does 101 Dalmatians hold up?
Yes, I thought it was a really beautiful film.
Yeah.
I was surprised by that. Because I was honestly kind of expecting, like, because I know this was the switch to the Xerox animation.
Which is kind of seen as a lesser animation.
Yes, it has been. And so I kind of imagined that, like, I was going to be like, well, Pinocchio and Sleeping Beauty were so much better. But I thought it was really lovely. No. I thought this one was really unique.
Okay, I would say for this one movie, like, it really worked.
I thought so too. Like, it worked with the styling and, like, kind of the feeling of it.
They worked so hard to get the background to match it, like, stylistically.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
I feel like using this now as the new norm, it sort of cheapens the experience a little bit.
I feel like I would be sad if it was more of, like, a fantasy, unless it is done in kind of, because it really works with kind of that off-kilter feeling of backgrounds and stuff. And I think without kind of that off-kilter feeling and quirkiness, it doesn't work as well.
Well, it's just like one kind of background, one kind of animation style doesn't necessarily lend itself to every single thing. And not that they can't do different animation styles with the Xerox, but you're always going to have those black lines, which I think can be sort of, I don't know. I don't want to use this word because I feel like it's super extreme, but like garish.
Yeah. The other thing I would say about Dalmatians that
elegant.
Yeah. Yeah. No, totally. It's not as elegant. It's a little more scratchy.
Yeah.
Right?
And in general, I feel like 101 Dalmatian feels very cold.
I was going to say, I don't get an emotional payoff. I get emotional payoffs early in the film, like with them getting together and falling in love and like the puppies being born and the stillborn one, but no, it's actually alive, and like that was a bigger deal to me when I was a kid. And also I always imagined that Lucky was that stillborn puppy when I was a kid.
Oh.
Because he's my favorite and he's like the only one that's like really featured as like a character.
What about Rolly?
Sorry, Rolly, who's always getting into trouble. Literally every time they almost get caught, it's Rolly's fault. And you're like, Rolly.
What the heck?
poor Rolly. You know what I mean? And all he can ask is when he gets his next food.
I'm hungry, Mama. I feel like the problem was I didn't like any of the voice actors for the dogs that much. Yeah.
I like Pongo and Perdita.
No,
yeah.
Pongo and Perdita are friend the puppies.
Well, I was gonna say, like, the character of the
kid,
puppies, they're not really established at all.
Yeah, the kid acting's not that great. So I never got, like, super attached to the puppies. So, like, you're almost entirely riding on, like,
just
the
the
fact
knowledge
that they are
puppies, yeah.
And we should save them. You know what I mean?
Well, also the puppies just sit there in that room and they never try to leave or anything. They're just like, okay.
I know.
It's like... Yeah, so, like, the emotional payoff isn't great. And then, like, at the end, it's great that they're like, we're gonna start a Dalmatian plantation. And I love Roger and Anita, but I'm like, that's crazy. Next film, bankruptcy. I mean, what are they gonna do?
Next film is, like, a documentation on this crazy couple who has 101
dogs. Who, yes,
like, imagine
exactly.
somebody's like, 101 cats.
I know, exactly.
I'm gonna move to a farm so I can accommodate all of them.
It's cute when
what?
it's dogs, but as soon as you put in cat terms, right? I mean...
What? They're both crazy. What?
I mean, why couldn't they say, we're gonna make sure that they all get really good homes?
And even at the beginning, they're, like, planning on keeping all 15 puppies?
I know. I was like, that's a sweet idea.
Apartment?
Knowing that, like, Perdita and Pongo are, like, their family or whatever. But I'm like, that's kind of crazy. And also, won't Perdita have more puppies?
Yeah.
I mean...
Yeah, it just... That was the part of the story I was like, wait, they were... I get, like, not wanting to sell to Cruella. Totally.
Don't sell to Cruella. She's obviously got problems.
Yeah.
But find good families for them, you know?
Exactly. You're gonna keep them?
You can't keep all 15.
Fucking crap. How did you get your puppy?
I know. And now, instead of selling the 101 Dalmatians you have, you're gonna move out to the country?
I know.
It's just...
Those guys... Everyone
it's a little crazy.
A little crazy.
I mean, yeah. Everyone's a little crazy. Especially the maid. She's a little crazy.
Oh, I have to say one more thing. The Border Collie dog was so majestic.
Wait, which one?
The Border Collie. No, sorry, not the Border Collie. Just the
Collie.
Collie.
The Collie, yeah. The German...
No, the Collie.
The Collie?
He takes them up into the barn.
The barn? Oh, yeah. I do love that part, too. The kind of, like, when they're going back, actually, and they're, like, all tired, and there's the barn scene with the cows. That was another part I remembered from my childhood, when they, like, all drink out of the cows, and they have, like, saved scraps for them and stuff. Like, that was really sweet, because they're, like, it's almost like they're helping refugees in the Underground Railroad or something. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
It felt that was very cool.
Yeah, I like that. Like, all the dogs coming together to help each other, because let's be honest, that's what dogs do.
That was the best part, is probably, like, the characters of the different dogs. But, like, we got more character out of this Collie than we got out of any of the puppies.
Yeah, I guess I wanted the puppies to think and do things more for themselves a little bit more.
Yeah, it was definitely an adult-driven film.
Yeah.
Where the kids were just
there.
Victims and you gotta help them, but, like, yeah.
It's not that I want the kids to, like, save themselves.
No.
But I just wanted to see them react to more things, I guess.
I wanted them to be more...
present in the story.
Yeah.
Anywho.
But I think overall...
it's a really good movie.
Yeah, you should go watch it. It's really beautiful. Look at the backgrounds, because I think as a kid, I, like, never probably would have. But pay attention. They're really cute and really beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it.
Definitely.
I love it when I can tell what's going to happen in the scene, because certain parts of the background will suddenly look a little different because they've now drawn over top of it.
Right. It's
and
something
so you
that's
know
going to
that
move.
It's going to break or move or something
right,
like
exactly. I love that too.
Anyways.
But if 101 Dalmatians was your jam when you were a kid, like, it's your favorite thing in the world... Sorry, Ruth is trying to stand up.
Tell us stories. Thank you for singing that with me without you knowing what I was going to say.
I know.
Tell us stories. That was great. Thank you, Mary.
You're welcome. I was just trying to harmonize on the fly there. But, yeah, tell us about any experiences you had with it. Any experiences you had with dogs in general?
Trauma,
shopping trauma.
We shared a lot of trauma with you today.
We did.
Like 3 trauma. 3 or 4.
mild traumas. But But yeah, so we would love to hear all of your stories. Please email them to us at realrecollectionspodcast@gmail.com. Or you can share them on our Facebook page, which is Real Recollections Podcast. Or, what else can they do, Jonah?
They can leave a comment or review.
Oh yeah, on Apple Podcasts or on Spotify.
You
Leave
can't
us
do
a
it on
review.
Spotify.
You can't?
No.
You can subscribe on Spotify.
Spotify. Satisfy. I think that's a great idea. Why don't we all go and follow us right now?
On Spotify.
This is what do you call it when you make people do things that they don't want to do?
Yeah, we'll have to embed a message if they play it backwards or something that's like our podcast,
What's going
like
on,
that.
Ruth?
Ruth,
She heard some disturbing news for that other dog. Here.
It's because she really wants to hear from all of you.
Like, do it. Okay, love you, bye.
Love you, bye. Wow. Was that the end of the podcast? You were like, love you, bye? You said it so quick and like, we're done with you. Goodbye. Click. We really do love you guys. Bye.
Wait, was that the end of the podcast?
I don't know. Are we ended yet? Maybe we're not done yet. You have any more trauma for us?